We are the only human species alive today. But not long ago, Homo sapiens shared the planet with Neanderthals, Denisovans, Homo floresiensis, and several other kinds of humans. Then they vanished. Did climate change destroy them? Did we outcompete them? Or did some survive by becoming part of us? The disappearance of the other humans is one of prehistory's greatest mysteries, and the answer may explain why we are still here. Our species evolved in Africa at least hundreds of thousands of years ago. But for much of that time, Homo sapiens remained one human population among several. Groups moved across Africa, sometimes becoming isolated and later reconnecting. Eventually, some Homo sapiens populations expanded beyond the continent. They entered regions already occupied by other humans. In the Middle East, they encountered Neanderthals. Further east, they encountered Denisovan populations. On islands in Southeast Asia, they may have entered landscapes inhabited by smaller human species. The old image of modern humans replacing other species in one sudden wave is too simple. Migrations occurred repeatedly. Populations advanced, retreated, and mixed. Some early expansions may have failed entirely. Eventually, however, Homo sapiens established populations across Eurasia, Australia, and later the Americas. Wherever our species spread, the other humans disappeared soon afterward in evolutionary terms. That pattern is difficult to ignore, but it does not prove that we killed them all. Theory 1. Climate change. The Ice Age world was unstable. Temperatures shifted. Glaciers expanded and retreated. Grasslands became forests. Forests became open plains. Animals migrated or disappeared. Human populations adapted by moving, changing diets, and developing new survival strategies. Species with small or isolated populations were especially vulnerable. Neanderthals lived across a large region, but they may have existed in scattered groups with low population density. Environmental shifts could separate communities, reduce available prey, and make recovery from local disasters difficult. Homo floresiensis and Homo luzonensis lived on islands where species can become highly specialized. That specialization may help them survive under stable conditions, but it can become dangerous when environments change or new competitors arrive. Climate almost certainly placed pressure on ancient human populations, but climate alone may not explain why Homo sapiens expanded while the others declined. We experienced many of the same environmental shocks. Something allowed us to respond differently. Theory 2. Better networks. One of the greatest advantages of Homo sapiens may not have been strength or intelligence in isolation. It may have been the size of our social networks. Archaeological evidence suggests some modern human groups exchanged materials across long distances. Shells, pigments, stone, and decorative objects moved between communities. These networks could provide information. Where were animals migrating? Which water sources remained reliable? Where could rare stone be found? Who could offer shelter during a crisis? A small population living alone was vulnerable. A connected population could recover. People could move between groups, find partners, share tools, and obtain food during difficult seasons. Neanderthals were capable hunters and skilled toolmakers. They cared for injured members of their communities. They used fire and adapted to severe climates. But their populations may have been smaller and more isolated. Even a slight difference in connectedness could become decisive over thousands of years. Homo sapiens may have survived not because each individual was superior, but because more groups remained connected across greater distances. Theory 3. Technology. Modern humans are often credited with more flexible technologies, but this must be handled carefully. Neanderthals made sophisticated stone tools. They used adhesives. They hunted large and dangerous animals. Some created ornaments and used pigments. The idea that they were unintelligent brutes has been thoroughly weakened. Still, Homo sapiens may have developed a broader variety of specialized tools. Needles allowed fitted clothing. Fishing equipment opened new food sources. Projectile weapons reduced the danger of close-range hunting. Bone and antler tools provided options beyond stone. The important advantage may have been flexibility. When one resource disappeared, Homo sapiens groups could exploit another. Coastal populations ate shellfish and fish. Grassland groups hunted herd animals. Forest communities relied on different plants and smaller prey. Technology does not need to be dramatically superior to change survival. A small improvement in food gathering, clothing, or hunting safety can increase the number of children who reach adulthood. Across thousands of generations, small advantages become enormous. Theory 4. Population size. Numbers matter. A species can be highly capable and still disappear if its population becomes too small. Low numbers increase the danger of inbreeding. They make communities vulnerable to disease, famine, and accidents. If several adults die in one winter, a small group may never recover. Genetic evidence suggests some ancient human populations experienced long periods of low population size. Homo sapiens may have arrived in waves, continually adding new people to existing populations. Even if local groups failed, others could replace them. This created resilience. The disappearance of other humans may not have required warfare. It may have resulted from demographic pressure. More Homo sapiens groups entered a region. They occupied more habitats. They reproduced across larger networks. Over time, the smaller populations were absorbed, displaced, or left without enough resources to survive. Theory 5. Conflict. Did our species kill the others? Direct evidence for large-scale prehistoric warfare between human species is limited, but competition was almost unavoidable. Humans hunt similar prey. They need water, shelter, and access to stone. When resources become scarce, even members of the same species can become violent. Encounters between different human groups may sometimes have ended in conflict. Modern humans may have displaced Neanderthals from valuable hunting territories. They may have competed for caves and river valleys. Diseases introduced through contact could also have had devastating effects, but a worldwide campaign of extermination is unlikely. Different species disappeared in different places and at different times. There was probably no single event. Conflict may have contributed without being the entire explanation. Theory 6. Disease. When populations remain separated for thousands of years, they develop different relationships with pathogens. Contact can expose one group to diseases carried harmlessly by another. This pattern is well known from recent human history. Ancient human encounters could have produced similar effects. Homo sapiens moving out of Africa may have carried pathogens unfamiliar to Eurasian populations. Neanderthals and Denisovans may also have carried diseases dangerous to incoming modern humans. Genetic evidence suggests interbreeding gave Homo sapiens some immune-related genes inherited from archaic humans. This means contact involved both danger and benefit. Disease could have reduced already small populations, accelerating declines caused by climate and competition. But once again, evidence is difficult to recover. Diseases rarely fossilize. Their impact may be visible only indirectly through genetics. The most extraordinary discovery came from ancient DNA. Neanderthals were once imagined as a separate species that became extinct without leaving descendants. We now know that modern humans and Neanderthals interbred. Many people with ancestry outside Africa carry a small percentage of Neanderthal DNA. Some populations also carry Denisovan ancestry. In parts of Oceania and Asia, Denisovan genetic contributions are especially significant. These inherited genes affect immune responses, skin biology, metabolism, and adaptation to high altitudes. The Denisovans vanished as a recognizable population. Neanderthals disappeared from the archaeological record, but parts of them survived inside Homo sapiens. This changes the meaning of extinction. Some groups may not have been completely replaced. They may have been absorbed. Imagine a small Neanderthal population surrounded by increasing numbers of Homo sapiens. Interbreeding continues over generations. The community's language and traditions change. Its distinctive appearance becomes less common. Eventually, the separate population no longer exists, but its descendants remain. The species vanished. The people did not all disappear. Why did we survive? There was probably no single secret. Homo sapiens were not necessarily stronger than Neanderthals. We may not have been dramatically more intelligent. We were not immune to climate change, famine, or disease. Our advantage may have been a combination of traits: large social networks, flexible diets, rapid information sharing, population growth, long-distance movement, specialized technologies, the ability to form alliances beyond immediate family groups. Perhaps most importantly, Homo sapiens repeatedly connected with strangers. That ability allowed genes, ideas, and resources to move between populations. When environments changed, our communities changed with them. When we met other humans, we sometimes competed, sometimes we fought, and sometimes we had children together. Survival was not simply a matter of defeating the others. It was also a matter of incorporating them. Today, more than 8 billion Homo sapiens occupy the planet. We live in deserts, rainforests, mountains, frozen regions, and enormous cities. Our species has altered nearly every ecosystem on Earth. It is easy to look at this success and imagine that our survival was guaranteed. It was not. Our ancestors passed through population crashes. Entire migrations failed. Small communities disappeared without leaving descendants. At several points, a different outcome was possible. Neanderthals might have survived longer. Denisovans could have remained a distinct population. A small island species might have endured into recorded history. Instead, the human family narrowed until only one visible branch remained. But within that branch are traces of the others. Some of us carry Neanderthal genes. Some carry Denisovan genes. Other unidentified ancestors may also survive within the human genome. We are the only human species left. But we are not entirely alone. The vanished humans are still present in fragments, in our immune systems, in our adaptations, in the DNA passed from parent to child. The last surviving human species is not the product of one pure line. We are the survivors of a tangled family. A family that competed, mixed, adapted, and almost disappeared. The others may be gone from the world, but parts of them still look through our eyes. The past is far stranger than we think, and this is only one chapter. Subscribe to see what the next video will reveal.